Welcome back to Bug Eye Gardener channel. Hey, some of our broccoli's ready, so today I'm going to show you how we cut it off and get it prepped and blanch it and then put it in the freezer to preserve it. So that's the way we do it every year. Now, it's not all ready. My broccoli is kind of hit and miss this year. I've got 3 good heads that are ready. One's really good. That's about the size they all were last year. So this year, they're not quite as big. We've had some bad weather, and I just haven't taken care of it as well. But anyhow, I'm going to show you how to do that real quick, get it preserved, get it in the freezer. All right, so here, this is the biggest head of broccoli I've got here. You can see it's a nice size head of broccoli. It's bigger than my hand. So last year, most of these heads were this size when I harvested them. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna reach underneath them here, try to find the stem. I got an old knife I leave out here at the garden. I forgot my pocket knife. We'll just cut that off like that. That's a nice size head of broccoli. We can take it in the house there, we'll just kind of cut it down through here into nice florets. And then we'll wash those off and blanch them and get them bagged up, put in the freezer. So let me get these other couple heads I've got that are ready. They're not quite this big, and I'll show you how we do that. All right, so I just picked 3 heads today. There was a couple more out there. It was almost ready. This one could have used a couple more days, but it's been so hot, I was afraid it was gonna bolt. Some of them didn't grow even. Last year I put the weed fabric down, and it did really good, kept the weeds out, and we had plenty of rain. We've had so much rain, then we had a huge dry spell. Last week was 90 some degrees every day. We had 92, 93, which is really warm for here in Ohio. So I was afraid it was gonna bolt anymore. You see, this head here is huge. Last year they were almost all that size heads. So I've only got 3 today, but that's a good thing about broccoli is it's easy to prep. So you don't have to worry about making a huge mess or anything. We'll show you how easy it is here in a minute. What we're gonna do is we're gonna take it, we'll just go through, cut some of the florets off, pull that stem out. We'll throw it in. I got some hot water in the sink back here, just warm tap water. I'll put a little bit of salt in with it, just kind of stir it around. Sometimes you get some bugs in there. Last year I didn't have any. I did spray it once last year with some spinosad. I sprayed on my potatoes and some other stuff. So I kind of expect there to be some bugs in here this year. We'll find out. But anyhow, we'll let them soak in there for a few minutes. I got a pot of water boiling behind me. And as soon as it's boiling, we'll get ready to dip it in there. And I'll show you how we do that. All right, we'll start with one of these medium-sized heads here. So I like to come in from the side like this, kind of look down in. I like to have a little bit of stem in mine, but I don't want a whole lot. And just kind of keep rolling it around like that. Try to avoid the leaves. Might be growing inside there. Yeah, see there's a couple little bugs in there. I kind of expected that, but it's all right, they'll wash out. We'll just go like that. So that was off that medium-sized head. You can see that's a decent amount. That's probably 2 baggies worth. We'll put them in freezer bags when we're done. You can also vacuum seal them. I've got a vacuum sealer, but I never do mine that way. So we'll do the same thing with this one. I was kind of worried with that heat last week that this wasn't gonna, it was gonna bolt, wasn't gonna be any good, but it looks pretty good. Nice size heads. See, there goes a bug across the table there. All right, so let me get these thrown in the hot water and then I'll cut this last one up and we'll show you that. All right, so there's that last head there. Like I said, it's not a whole lot. There's 3 or 4 freezer bags worth here, so it'll make a nice meal. Just kind of stir it around that warm water, rinse that dirt off. See if there's any bugs in there. I see a couple earwigs floating out. Slosh it around a little bit. Let's add a little bit of salt to it here. I've just got some bag of canning pickling salt down here. Regular salt's fine. You don't even have to put salt in. I just like to put a little bit in. I've heard it helps get the bugs out. I don't know if it actually works or not, but I got a couple tablespoons. There's a cabbage worm there. That's what's usually in them. All right, we'll just let that soak for a minute while we're getting the water up to temp. It's almost ready. While I'm waiting, I'm gonna fill this side with cold water and put a couple chunks of ice in it. So when we pull it out of the blanching water, we can throw it in that ice bath to cool it off. All right, so I got a couple cottage cheese containers full of water I had in the freezer here. We'll throw these down in here for ice, cool that water off. Warm water on it first. There we go. Put it over the cold. We'll fill that. All right, I'm getting something ready to dump in here. I just like to go through them all I found a couple little worms in them, nothing major. See right there on that one. Got a wee little worm on the end of it. They kind of come out when you put them in that hot water, so we'll just clean them all off. We'll do these in small batches. You don't want to cool your water down too much all at once. And you can cut these smaller if you like. I like to have them as big as possible. They're just easier to handle. Probably get these all in 2 batches actually. Should have about 4 bags worth here, maybe 5. Just depends how many I put in the bag. Me and my wife eat it pretty good, and my little one likes it. So we go through a good bit of it. Any spots that are bad, you can pick some out, break them off. Any leaves that stuck to them. All right, that's about enough for one batch. I hear my water boiling. I think it's ready, so let's get them thrown in. All right, so we got our water boiling. You'll see how dark green this will get here in a second. We'll just throw that down in. Stir it around a little. You can see it's already turned dark green. We'll give that about a minute in there. Got our cold water waiting on us over here in the sink. You want to stop that cooking. You don't want to cook this through. You just want to blanch it. Alright, that's probably about long enough. So we'll pour our strainer up out. If you don't have a big strainer like that, you just put it in a regular pot, works fine. We'll take it over here. Just dump it in our cold ice bath. Throw that back in the pot. Let that water come back to a boil, and we'll throw this last batch in. Alright, got her back up to boil. Put the last of it in. Give that about a minute. And we'll dump that one in the cold water. All right, so we got it all done. There ended up with 4 bags. I probably could have made 5 out of them, but I put a little bit more in than we usually do. But wrote on the bags what it is. It's Green Magic was the variety, in case I didn't tell you, but that's what I've grown several varieties here, and this is what does the best for me. And so Green Magic, and I wrote the year and the batch number. I put 24-1. I do that with most of the stuff I can. If I do more than one batch, I always write dash whatever batch it is, just in case you get a batch, say you can some sauce and something happens to it, it doesn't seal good or it goes bad, then you kind of know to watch for that batch. So not that it's going to go bad in the freezer, but I just always write stuff on it. But make sure you use a good freezer bag too. It has to be a freezer bag. If you use just a regular baggie in there, it'll leak air and it'll get all freezer burn stuff. So I had some Ziploc ones there, good freezer bags. So I got 4 of them there. I got one I threw back in the water and boiled to try. Really good. That tastes real good this winter. When you look for something fresh, pull it out of the freezer and throw it in the microwave for a few minutes. You can boil water, you can steam it. We usually throw it in the microwave and just kind of steam it in there for about 5 minutes. Works perfect. So anyhow, give that a try. That's how we blanch and preserve our broccoli. And thanks for watching. We'll see you next time here on the Buckeye Gardener channel.